Yo to the yo, my crazy ant followers. How are y'all doing today? Oh my goodness, we have Scott Alda Coffey coming on the podcast.
Yes,
Getting
man.
a little crazy.
Dude is killing it right now in the Outpost,
Yeah.
man. I mean, huge success over the weekend for them, which is funny to say with the box office being the way that it is, but huge success. People wanted to see this movie and they found a way to do it, so that's awesome.
Dude, yeah, it's amazing. And I love when he's actually talking about getting prepared for this character. I know we cut a soundbite and a lot of you probably heard over social media how he felt about the character and wanting to do it right. And I just love the passion and motivation he had behind like his motives because like he just cares. He cares so much. And I mean, of course, because he comes from a legendary acting family.
Exactly.
So of course.
Exactly. And I like when he talks about that. You guys are going to really love this. It wasn't just handed to him because he is Hollywood royalty.
Yeah.
He had to earn this, and he talks about that, and that's really cool. You guys are going to love this interview for
I
sure.
agree, man. I agree. But that's later on the show. Now, let's get a little crazy. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Crazy Ant Farm. Holy moly, we're on episode 120.
That's a big holy moly.
Dude, it's crazy.
120.
It's just absolutely insane.
We're
I
just
know.
knocking them out.
Yeah,
Boom, 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 boom.
Like,
It's like
I know we said this on the State of the Company address, if you watch that, but thank you guys so much for sticking around because we went back and we were listening to like old episodes, like year one, like month one, week one, like. Ooh, it was rough. So.
Man, yeah. Woo. How you guys were even like, these guys are boring as
I know,
shit.
like.
I mean, you know we're not, but we just, I don't know what it was. We had to find our I don't know. I said it in the State of the Union, I guess, or the State of the Company. The State of the Union. I, too, am running for president. Fuck you, Kanye.
Right.
No, I'm kidding.
Just,
we had to find our personality.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, and find a groove and just get into it. And I think once we just threw the rundown out and said, let's just be us, that shit took off.
Exactly, man. I mean, just finding our on-air personalities, it's really just like 5 clicks above our regular personalities, but I mean, it's just so fun. It's so fun cutting off the dead weight, and I mean, just rocking and rolling. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Doing what we have to do to keep this magic alive, and it's great.
Oh man, and I'm really excited because coming up in industry news, we actually have a lot of Disney news.
Yes.
The past couple of weeks, we've been like, where is Disney?
Yeah, man.
We love the House of Mouse, and we're like, where are they? But we got some news this week.
Exactly.
Of course, HBO, the bunny's not gonna have that because lots of. As you can see up front.
Exactly.
A lot of Batman news.
Yeah.
A lot of Batman
We're quite
news.
diverse if you see Warner Brothers, DC, and I got my Mickeys out here with a little Star Wars.
It's true. I really feel like we should get a Bugs.
I know. They had Daffy and Bugs at our local Funko store the other day.
Tasmanian Devil.
Yes.
And there's a bunch of Warner Brothers
So
ones.
many.
And my favorite, if I'm going to get one, of course I want Bugs, but Marvin the Martian.
Yeah.
Marvin the Martian has always been my favorite Looney Tune character.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just awesome.
Yeah, man. And then, of course, your host with the most talking all these Funkos. You already know, myself, J-Lo Fantastic, and the one and only Mal.
What's up?
Yeah, buddy. Oh, my goodness. Like he said, we're talking Warner Brothers. We're talking Disney. We're talking freaking Amazon. We're everything, basically.
Yeah, man.
Even Quibi. They might
And
not.
Quibi and Sony had some news that wasn't
Holy
Spider-Man.
shit.
Sony had some news that wasn't
Holy
Spider-Man. Although it was a pretty big news.
Yeah.
It's not Spider-Man, but it's a significant name.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to find out who we're talking about.
Definitely. But before we get this thing started, be sure to head over to our website, crazyantmedia.com, where you can start rocking the latest and greatest Crazy Ant Media gear. Look at the shirts.
Look at that. I'm gonna slide.
It's so good.
That's logo
it's
in
so
white and black.
Freaking
Black and
good.
white.
Exactly.
That's old school.
Exactly. Whichever you prefer, the black, the white. You can get the hats. I mean, we're putting new freaking merchandise up there every single week. So be sure to check out next week because we're pretty sure we're going to have our honorary Crazy Ant Media freaking shirts up there. And you can get yourself an honorary Crazy Ant shirt.
Yeah, because you want to be an honorary Crazy Ant.
I mean, of course.
I mean, who doesn't?
Of course. Basically, all of our guests are, so it's great. It's great. And I mean, it's getting close, guys. It's getting close. I mean, of course, you got the Starbucks
Excuse
coffee.
me, I haven't had enough coffee today, so
but
you guys know me.
You guys know.
I just didn't want to look rude. That's why.
Exactly.
Don't mind me. He's gonna tell you what's coming, and then I'm gonna drink. All
exactly.
Right,
Let him drink for a second. But guys, Rebecca Kennedy is about to come back on the show because it's about to be time. It's about to be time. This guy over here. But yeah, I mean,
forever guest.
Yeah, like every 10 episodes? It's like 7 episodes now.
She's coming on more and more often, and you know why? Because she co-hosts now sometimes. So we're hoping that'll be the case this time. You know, that she'll co-host with us. So we'll see.
Super excited.
And here's the crazy part: 9. It will be her 9th appearance. She's about to cross into double digits, y'all. Man. She's getting real.
Absolutely bonkers. Absolutely freaking bonkers. But let's get this thing started, man. Let's get this thing started. I'm sure everyone has freaking watched Hamilton over this past week. Dude, like, honestly, might be my favorite musical now. And I'm a huge musical guy, so I'm very, like, this thing was amazing. I cried, at least 3 times. I'm just saying, like, if you haven't seen this yet, sign up for Disney Plus and check this out. And, I mean, so many people have signed up for Disney Plus.
Yeah, it's worth it. It was worth signing up. They don't give you the free trial anymore.
No.
But it's worth signing up. And, yeah, like you said, a shit ton of people. Was it successful? Releasing it on the 4th of July weekend, first of all.
Dude,
brilliant move by the Mouse House, okay?
Exactly. I mean, globally downloaded 513,000 times.
Yeah.
And freaking just 266,000 in the U.S. alone.
Yeah, and the 3 prior weeks to that, it's up 47% higher than the 3 previous weekends before that. And I'm guessing all of them, once they realized what was on there.
Yeah.
The documentary about the making of Frozen 2, the documentary about the Mandalorian, all of the Spider-Man and Marvel movies and all the Star Wars. I bet they're like,
so good.
Fuck it, we're keeping it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know that conversion rate after signing up for Hamilton is probably going to be huge.
It's only like $7 or $8, guys.
Exactly.
It's really freaking worth it, especially if you have little younglings running around. Like, it's just so good.
Yeah.
So freaking good. But yes, Hamilton was great too, so y'all need to go check that out. Now, I mean, this is really interesting because, I mean, you know, everybody's really into the live action remakes of the animated stories. And the latest one, at least in our news, is Jude Law is in talks to play Captain Hook in Disney's latest live-action one, Peter Pan.
Yeah. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. Wait, they've done live-action Peter Pan, but it wasn't Disney.
It wasn't.
It wasn't Disney. This is an actual Disney film taking the Peter Pan animated film and making a live-action version out of it, like they've been doing with all of their animated films. And for anybody who doesn't know, by the way, Disney's animated Peter Pan is still the most successful version of Peter Pan to ever hit the screen.
It's so good.
So
how could it not be?
Yeah, and apparently a lot of big names passed on this before they got to Jude Law. Will Smith, Ryan Gosling, a bunch of people that they offered it to that said, we're not sure, but Jude Law was smart.
Right.
Jude Law's like, no, I've been in the Marvel machine.
Yeah,
I know Disney. I'm saying yes.
And which it really doesn't make sense because you got some mega heavy hitter like Hollywood royalty fucking playing Captain Hook, especially that role in particular, like Dustin Hoffman, Jason Isaacs, and most recently the man himself, Hugh Jackman.
Yeah. And so I guess maybe they were a little gun shy because I mean Hook. With Dustin Hoffman, you know, way back
Robin Williams,
and Julia Roberts, that one was pretty successful. That was a Spielberg outing. The other two, though, were kind of like subpar at the box office and critically panned. So maybe that's what's called, you know.
Maybe. I mean, people are a little scared of the role, so they don't want to have that attached to that name. But I understand that. But right now, I mean, Disney's killing it with their live action, so it really doesn't make much sense to me. The only one they kind of took a little dip on was freaking Dumbo, and maybe Mulan. We'll see how that turns out, but I wouldn't blame that on Disney. No. I blame that on fucking COVID.
Exactly. And we talk about this every week, right? The biggest competitor, we talk about WB. You know, they finally have turned their shit around, so they're back.
They got really their shit together.
Punching it out with the mouse, right? But prior to that, the big one going back and forth, you know, you've seen our little graphics with the boxing gloves and everything. Netflix.
Yeah.
Well, we told you a couple weeks ago on the show, Netflix had done a deal with Colin Kaepernick, right?
Yeah, and Ava
well, Disney's
DuVernay,
like, whoa, hey, we can't let you guys have that. We can't let you steal the thunder. Disney's now signed a deal with Colin also.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that one was Ava DuVernay, right? About his life. And this one specifically with Colin Kaepernick.
Exactly.
Which is fucking epic because, I mean, creator himself. And he's got his own media company, Raw Vision.
Yeah.
I mean, they signed a overall first look deal with the Walt Disney Company. And a partnership will focus on telling scripted and unscripted stories that will explore race, social injustice, and the quest for equality. Will provide new platform for like all the black and brown creators, directors, producers, and I'm super excited because apparently he's literally going to make content for all of Disney's platforms.
Yeah,
like
not just the sports channels,
no.
like all of them. So that's really cool. You know, and true, he'll be narrating the project with Ava, and he was involved in the making of it and all that kind of. But this is just like him full out making the content.
Exactly.
So yeah, this is gonna be really cool.
Super excited about that. I mean, proven example right there. Disney's like, all right, we're hiring black creators, so we got you. So go you.
True. It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Matthew Weiner. Okay.
Yeah.
You guys know the name Matthew Weiner? Mad Men. If you don't know Matthew Weiner, you know Mad Men. That's his baby. That was his show, right? Well, he's back. He's developing a half-hour series at FX. We don't know what it's about yet. It's being kept under wraps, right? But it's described as a mystery drama. Ooh. And he's going to be writing the series and it will executive produce and direct it.
All right.
Now, all I'm saying is, guys, you saw Mad Men.
Yeah.
That thing exploded. Yeah, we just talked about all these deals that were being made to get it again, to stream it everywhere, right?
Yeah.
That's how popular it was. So you know this is going to be a hit. That thing launched a ton of stars.
It did.
A ton of big-name stars were on that show. They wanted to be on that show and make appearances on that show. I'm going to get the same vibe, I think, from this one. I think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
We're going to see some people launched, and we're going to see some people be like, I got to be on that show.
Yeah.
So good for him, Matthew Weiner. Good for you.
Good for you.
Disney, man, just locking them down.
Right?
Getting creators and locking them down, man.
I know. But, I mean, ABC, why? Just reboots after reboots, man. I mean, we are in the day and age of the reboot and streaming wars. And,
yes.
I mean, it's crazy. It's absolutely insane. But get this. ABC has landed a pilot production commitment to a Wonder Years reboot.
Yeah, that's right. Kevin and Winnie.
Yeah.
Kevin and Winnie, the Wonder Years.
Yeah.
You guys know. Why? Okay, there's no need for this. Mm-hmm. They're trying to do a spin on it. This time it's going to be set in the same era, the 60s, but this time they're going to try to do a spin on it. It's going to be told from a black perspective, and it's going to follow a black family growing up in Montgomery, Alabama, and trying to show why they also had the Wonder Years, even in the tough civil rights era and all the stuff going on and stuff. Like, that's great. I think that story needs to be told, but that could be told without having to reboot Wonder Years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I don't understand why it has to be a reboot of Wonder Years, but Fred Savage pitched it.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking, what did the original Wonder Years gang he pitched it.
Yeah.
So he's a part of it. Lee Daniels is attached to it. He's going to executive produce it. So I don't know. You know our feelings on reboots.
Yeah.
And if you're going to do a reboot, I like revivals better than reboots.
Yeah.
Like, I would have been okay, say, Kevin and Winnie are grown adults now. Maybe they adopted a black child and we're going through everything that they have to go through and what the difference is between coming up as a black child in today's society and all of the issues that's going on and what African American people are going through these days. I think that would have been a far better story to tell than, because Kevin and Winnie, they were the middle class, kind of perfect family in the 60s and, just coming of age angst stuff, but nothing real dramatic, right? Yeah. What better way than to say, hey, when we were coming up, we didn't have to deal with this. You're going to have to deal with this, and kind of tell that story that way.
Yeah.
Just my opinion.
My opinion is this is a really weird time period and place to hold this reboot. Like, first of all, Deep South, Alabama is not the nicest places, especially in the 60s, towards African-American people. Like, I don't know, man. My theory is that they're going to show this, and they're going to think everything, like, they're going to show that the family is all, like, yay, happy, but that's not how it was, I feel like. Not to say that there weren't happy African-American families during the 1960s in Alabama, but that was a massive point in time, like you said, the civil rights movement, and just I don't know.
I mean,
I just think it's going to shy away from the main issue.
Montgomery.
Yeah.
I mean, Bloody Sunday. Just think about all the stuff that happened in that area during that time. And it's not just during that time, it's even now. Most recently in my head, I can think of Just Mercy. And Just Mercy was set, 80s, I think, 70s or 80s. But even then, 20 plus years after the 60s, Michael B. Jordan's character is driving down the road, and he's driving through this one neighborhood where it's all pretty lawns, and they're cutting it, and there's nice houses. But to get to where he was going in the African American community, it's dirt roads, and they're broken down, shagged up houses, and because they're separated. Guys, that's still Alabama.
Exactly.
I'm sorry to tell you, but they are still separated.
Yeah.
Okay? And so, I don't know, man. I hope that this works for them. I hope they can kind of put this out there in a positive light and show some positive stuff and say, I get the message. I get that even through bad times and ugliness and hate, we can still show hope and happiness and joy. I think that's the message they're going to try to convey with this show. I just don't think it was necessary in a reboot of an old show.
It's a weird one, man. It's a weird one. We'll see how it turns out. I mean, who knows when it's going to air? Who knows? I mean, more shit might happen where it might not air. We don't know.
That's true. I mean, they've given commitments and then not gone forward.
Exactly,
so who knows?
Exactly. It's going to be interesting, but I'm excited about this next one because I'm a huge Lucy Liu fan.
Yeah.
And she's badass. I haven't seen her in anything. Well, that Netflix movie about 2 years ago.
Yeah, and she was in Sherlock? That show about Sherlock on CBS?
Yeah.
She was Doc Watson.
Yeah.
But,
But, it's set to star in ABC's untitled workplace comedy from Better With You creator Shiana Goldberg-Mihan.
Yes.
This comes after ABC revealed that the pilot was one of 5 that it intends to film in the current batch of pilot orders.
And that's what you were just talking about, when they give a commitment but then might not necessarily go forward with it. Remember, they gave a commitment to 10 guys. They're only doing 5.
Yeah.
And this was one of them, luckily. But, so there you go. That's what you were talking about. So
yeah. And, I mean, like you said, these are in the batch. Let's see what happens. There's so much up in the air right now.
It's an interesting concept. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Apparently, Lucy's going to play a fierce and powerful head of a successful furniture company. And she's a force unfamiliar with failure, but then she adopts a baby's ill-prepared for parenting and feels a complete loss as to how to succeed at it.
All right.
So, that's... There you go. I mean,
workplace comedy right there.
So, and I love that. I love the approach of you're a kick-ass successful woman. You're doing everything right. You've never really suffered any kind of a setback. So you think, what's parenting?
Yeah.
I could be a mom. No. So, and Lucy Liu, I think, will be hilarious in that. So, good.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
For sure. And I mean, they're doing other amazing things, too. I mean, 2-time Oscar winner and star of FX's Hulu's Marvelous. I'm so obsessed with Marvelous Miss Maisel. Miss America, Kate Blanchett. However, yes, has signed an executive first look deal with FX Productions through her company, Dirty Films.
Yes.
The agreement covers scripted and non-scripted programming at FX and potentially other divisions of Walt Disney Television as well.
That's cool because and this show is coming off some huge ratings right now. It got a renewal, and so it makes sense that they would lock her down to a deal.
Yeah.
And it's Kate Blanchett. I mean, Kate Blanchett kicks ass.
Yeah.
So, of course, you're going to lock her down. There's a reason she got 2 Oscars, okay?
Exactly.
If you can keep her in the TV fold, keep her in the TV
Exactly.
fold. That's all I'm saying.
Keep it there. Utilize what you got. Oh, man. Now it's time.
Yes.
The
Batman news.
I didn't have my balloon.
You didn't.
Fuck.
You didn't. Damn.
Missed out. But Batman is one of several films and television productions that have been given the green light to resume filming soon.
Yes.
So excited.
So excited. Apparently, remember we talked about Tom Cruise getting that little waiver from the quarantine or whatever for Mission Impossible? Well, the Batman is in on that too. Apparently, the UK government announced that they're going to have a limited number of essential individuals working on major productions, and this exclusive group is going to get a waiver from the 14-day quarantine as long as they stick to the strict guidelines of bubbled environments and distancing on set and all that kind of stuff. So real soon, we're going to see the Batman go back into production.
Yes.
We'll talk about it in a little bit, but Jurassic World's already gone, and we're going to talk about that. And then, like we said, Mission Impossible and stuff. But the Batman is the one we're really concerned about because that thing started. I mean, it had been filming for like nearly 2 months before it got shut down.
Yeah, exactly.
For COVID, so they're in essence jumping back into it, not just getting started, but jumping back into something that they had been filming for 2 months.
And I mean, everybody was so excited when they saw the on-set pictures of the motorcycle and the stuntman and like what the Batmobile might look like. Like, I'm super excited.
Yeah, the totalitarian look that they've got going on, the kind of grounded. I mean, the Batmobile looks like a muscle car.
Yeah,
looks like a souped-up Mustang or something. It's badass, okay? And we've heard Zoe Kravitz talk about her Catwoman is going to be like in a leather jacket and like I think this thing is going to be freaking epic.
So excited. I mean, everybody's so excited, obviously, because even the director has built up enough steam to where he has now signed an exclusive multi-year overall deal with Warner Brothers Television Group. Under the overall agreement, Matt Reeves, if y'all don't know, will develop new television programming for all platforms, including the streaming service HBO Max, broadcast, premium, and basic cable networks.
Yes,
so,
and okay, here's some breaking news, and here might be why he signed that deal.
Oh, shit.
Because apparently that TV deal includes something already in the works. HBO Max has given a series commitment to an original DC drama set in Gotham City's police department from Matt Reeves.
You're right there.
Ding, 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 ding. All right, and here's the crazy part, guys, and this is the part I'm really freaking excited about, okay? Are you ready? The series is set in the same world as the Batman film. Ooh. Because their goal is they're going to launch it across multiple platforms and create a new universe in this Batman world.
All right.
So there you go. Yeah. Exciting stuff. And now it begs the question, though, now because we know that J.J. Abrams is kind of like, it hasn't been officially said, but we all kind of see it based on what we've been reporting, that he's kind of overseeing the DC stuff right now at Warner Brothers, okay? We know Berlanti's got the Arrowverse. We know JJ is developing stuff for HBO Max with Green Lantern and all these. Are those going to be the platforms? Because I feel like Robert Pattinson's Batman is that age, that kind of, that right there, to where he fits right into the Arrowverse. Yeah. He's like that guy, you know what I'm saying? So could we see a potential crossover with those universes? Is that the platform that he's talking about, that it's going to be spread out on?
That'd be badass.
Because if you merge somehow this new Robert Pattinson Batman universe with the Arrowverse, holy fuck.
Yeah.
That would be epic.
They're trying to bring it all together, guys. Bring it all together.
I hope so because Marvel tried and they should have done it with the Netflix stuff. So now if Warner Brothers can figure that shit out and merge their Arrowverse with a filmverse that works, what?
Be insane.
Just saying. It would be epic, man.
And then like for what we've been reporting on the past couple weeks, where does that leave Michael Keaton's Batman? I mean, they're still going forward with the Flashpoint, we think. So who knows, man? Warner Brothers is like got all this shit.
But again, though, remember, Michael Keaton's Batman is canon in the Arrowverse.
Yeah.
They made that clear in Crisis. So maybe that was another hint at, we're going to merge these universes on all these platforms, and they are all going to exist in one film television universe. If that is the case, and you can have multiple Batmans and multiple things, because we know the multiverse exists now with Crisis.
Yeah.
And oh my God, dude, I would be like, just as a comic book nerd, jonesing. I would be just like going nuts if this happens, because it would be epic.
Well, I mean, they did make the connection. They did make the connection between film and television with Ezra Miller's Flash and Crisis.
Exactly. So they've linked old school Keaton Batman with Crisis. They linked, like you just said, Ezra's new DCEU with Crisis and the Arrowverse. And now they're talking about Matt Reeves coming into a TV universe. You know, Batman's coming into the TV. It might be all connected. Oh my gosh, it would be so epic.
So freaking epic. And I mean, we finally got the news, guys. Some epic news. Speaking of epicness, Batwoman has cast the new lead, Javicia Leslie. You might know her from God Friended Me.
Yep.
Yeah, another Berlanti production. So, I mean, it's only right that she come over to Batwoman. She will be succeeding Ruby Rose, who exited the role after season 1. We all know, couldn't handle the pressure.
Literally, and we're not dogging her. She literally said that. She just didn't realize what she was signing up for with all the crossovers and all the crazy, stuff that was going on. I mean, it is pretty intense.
It is. So it is. You got to be prepared for it. But Leslie confirmed to play the new character named Ryan Wilder to make her debut in the iconic cape and cowl.
Yes.
When Batwoman returns to the CW for its second season in January. Batwoman producers and Warner Brothers Television and Berlanti Productions did not look far to find the new lead, as we said, came from God's Friend in Me. And I mean, this storyline where she's coming from, she used to be like a drug runner that was being chased by Gotham PD, and like it kind of sounds a lot like fucking what's his face, Red Hood there. So
Jason Todd's version of Robin. Yeah, but I like this. She's living in her van. Yeah. She's not a trust fund kid. She's not part of the Wayne fortune, kind of a thing. So I really like this. And, we already know Luke Fox plays a significant role in the Batwoman series, right? Yeah. Lucius Fox's son. I can see this totally going in. At some point in the comic books, Luke Fox becomes Batwing.
Yeah.
Not Batwing like, goofy Batmite kind of like Batwing, like a Batman Nightwing kind of badass dude, right? So I could totally see that playing out now with an African-American Batwoman and then Luke Fox as an African-American Batwing. I could see that team up happening somewhere down the line in Batwoman, and I think it would be epic.
Yeah, I'm super excited. And they defined it as not your stereotypical all-American hero. And plus, Ruby Rose went to Instagram to congratulate her. She's super excited to see what she does with the character. So I'm glad to see there's no turmoil or animosity there because, I mean, everything just needs to be good. Needs to be good.
Yeah, and so all the haters back off.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there was a lot of hate, too, about a black Batwoman.
It's like, why not? Why not?
Exactly. Why the fuck not?
Exactly.
I mean, come on.
Exactly.
There's no place for hate, man.
Exactly.
And okay, even more so, combined world, right? HBO Max, everything kind of moving to HBO Max. DC, woo! Stargirl. Have you guys been watching that, by the way? Epic. I am freaking loving it. Amy Smart, Luke Wilson, Breck Bessinger, they're all just kicking ass, right? Yvette Montreal, they're all phenomenal. I love the story. It got renewed. No surprise there, because it has been kicking ass. So, renewed for a second season. Bad news for DC Universe fans. I'm talking about the streaming service. It's not going to be on there anymore, guys. Yeah. It's strictly going to CW now. It's going to be a CW original series. It's going to plop into the Arrowverse, I'm guessing, even though it takes place in a different, Earth.
Yeah.
But they've already established in the Arrowverse there's multi-Earths.
Yeah.
Supergirl's on a different Earth than Flash and blah, blah, blah. So, but I like this. And then my question becomes, because like we said, they've already established that they're working on a Green Lantern series and they're doing all this stuff. Will this inevitably become a crossover with the rest of the Arrowverse or Matt Reeves' Batman-verse? Like, can we call it Batman-verse? We just made it up.
Like Batman-verse.
Batman-verse. Batverse.
Batverse.
We're gonna coin it for you, Matt. Call us.
Exactly.
It's gonna be great.
Exactly. It is exciting, but I mean, it's also troublesome and worrisome because what happens to the streaming service? What happens to DC? Like, I mean, the only original show that's gonna be still on there is Titans.
And now, get this. I'm hearing a rumor that there's gonna be maybe a shift in Titans to HBO Max as well in a worked out deal with Netflix. Because Netflix, if you guys don't know, carries Titans internationally.
Yeah.
And apparently it's huge for them. It's one of their highest rated watched shows internationally. So I'm hearing rumors that they might lock that deal internationally and work something out with HBO Max when it makes the shift to HBO Max. So, but not all bad news, though, for DC Universe. Because as you guys know, they also have all of the comic books.
Yeah.
Like literally all of the comic books from the DC publishing unit on there. You can read through. Plus they have like these fan shows that talk about the DC Universe and all the characters in the comic books and everything. I'm hearing that the price might drop and that DC Universe will strictly become that. Your place to go to read all the comic books or find all the comic book information and watch the fan shows.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Marvel has their own platform where they have all the comic books and stuff like that too. But, I mean, it was just so cool what they started out to be and then kind of got diluted because of HBO Max, which kind of sucks, but it's kind of cool at the same time. As long as they still have all of the old content and put it up on HBO Max, like Mark Valley's show and Constantine.
Exactly.
And, like, all the old ones, like fucking even Justin Hartley's Aquaman, like, you know, like, and Arrow, like Smallville, put all that up there. Like,
yes, and yes.
I mean,
there's no Arrowverse without Smallville. Remember that. And yeah, I love that you brought that up because a lot of people don't know. Justin Hartley, This Is Us. Justin Hartley, you know, Kevin, was Aquaman.
Yeah.
Before Jason Momoa was Aquaman, they tried to do a spinoff of Aquaman on the CW, and when it was still the WB, they passed on it. I was disappointed because you can find this on iTunes, guys. Go watch it. It's a great show.
Yeah.
It's got Lou Diamond Phillips in it and Ving Rhames, and it's like a great cast.
Well, if you sign up for DC Universe, you can watch it there too.
That's true. That's true, and it's so good. It's so just check it out. Check it out.
Exactly. But HBO is also doing some pretty cool things. They're trying to stay like relevant. Well, I mean, of course they're relevant right now, but they're trying to build up their content. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
They have ordered a 12-episode animated series based on Oscar-winning animated short film Hair Love from its writer-director Matthew A. Cherry and Sony Pictures Animation Young Love. The 2D animated series will explore family dynamics through the young black millennial family and just, you know, I mean, it's all about trying to understand everyone.
Yeah,
so I'm excited.
The short film was phenomenal, guys. Love Hair. It was all about like the differences that a young black girl was going with her hair, you know, and how it was different from the white kids and their hair and how the different thing. Obviously won the Oscar, you know. I mean, it was a brilliant little telling of that, and so this is just going to expand on her whole family and all the stuff that she kind of goes through beyond the hair.
Yes.
So, you know, makes sense. I like this idea. I think it's good.
I do too. And I also like that the next one they're doing with HBO Sports, they're currently in production for a 2-part documentary series entitled Tiger, a freaking documentary about Tiger Woods' journey through success, scandal, injury, and one of the most amazing comebacks in sports history. This is going to air December 13th and on December 20th on HBO. It will be also available on the streaming service HBO Max. So
it was one of the most epic comebacks ever.
It was. I mean, nobody was expecting that.
No, that dude went through some shit, man. All the injury stuff and then all off the personal stuff and like just like all the craziness. Nobody, I don't think anybody, like you said, expected him to put that green jacket back on.
No.
So when he did, it was epic.
Lost all of his endorsements. Like Nike dropped him. Like Gatorade dropped him. Like it's insane. It's absolutely insane.
Now they're all back.
Exactly.
And he's on top again.
Well, I mean, it just proves that we're all human. We all make mistakes, but I mean, it's what we do with those mistakes and how we capitalize on the opportunities that we are given and where we come out of that. So,
that's it. That's exactly right.
Yeah, man.
Exactly right.
Yeah, but now heading over to CBS Viacom. Still kind of mad at CBS because they are by far the most shadiest corporate television company, I believe, in my opinion. I mean, we talk about the whole Les Moonves thing, how they're still kind of paying him under the table, got him set up in his own like penthouse office off Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah, Sunset Towers or something like that. Yeah, it's insane.
It's fucking stupid.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I was hoping that when Viacom came in, like they could fix all that.
They said they were going to. Yeah. They cleaned house. They made this big deal about how they were pushing Moonves out and like, but they still haven't gotten rid of a certain individual who leads a certain show.
Yep.
Who admitted to everything. It's on tape. It's caught there, and they made the payout to pay off the actress. Still there.
It's fucking
still
stupid.
there. You all know who we're talking about.
Exactly.
Bull.
Yeah, blah blah blah.
Bull. Bull. That show. Bull.
Bull. Oh my goodness.
But they are making some moves. Okay, they have fired Peter Lenkoff. He is the showrunner and executive producer behind CBS, MacGyver, and Magnum PI, and was for Hawaii Five-0. Apparently, this guy has been just having, you know, these horrible on-set experiences, all kinds of harassment and bad working conditions, and over the past couple of years, all kinds of complaints coming at this guy. They finally pulled the trigger. They finally said after an investigation, it appears it's all true, you're out of here. They fired him from the 2 shows and ended his overall deal with the studio. That's been terminated as well.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, Bull.
Bull. Michael Weatherly. Right?
Yes.
Like, this motherfucker.
I just don't understand. You know, if you don't know what we're talking about, look up Michael Weatherly, Bull, and Elijah Dushku and read that story, okay? And then ask yourself why this hasn't been taken care of yet.
Exactly.
Okay? Because I'm sorry, but it's not right.
Exactly.
You know who is right, though?
Who?
James Corden.
That's right.
My man, James Corden.
Love him.
I love him.
I do too.
Yeah, he's my favorite. Right now, he's just killing it.
He is.
He is. And guess what? He's going into animation.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's going into animation with penguins.
Penguins. All right. Okay.
Not penguins. Pigeons.
Pigeons.
Pigeons. Pigeons. Penguins, pigeons, pee-pee, whatever. He's going to join Nickelodeon. And this is based on the book.
Okay.
Yeah. Real pigeons fight crime.
Okay.
And he's going to do an animated series based off this book. Real pigeons fight crime.
Yeah.
That makes sense for James Corden.
It does. I mean, he's a very family-friendly guy, especially with his kids at home and everything like that. So that's exciting. I mean, him, like Kevin Hart, they're all making these deals for Nickelodeon to make family-friendly kid content. So that's great. I think that puts them ahead of the game, honestly, because everybody's focusing so much on adult content. But if you can do kid content and then put some adult humor in there that go right over the kid's head, it's perfect.
Exactly. And I love how all these creators are signing these multi-platform deals, and then stretching out, because Corden's got that game show and then he's got Carpool Karaoke and all this. So, but to make the move into animation, it just shows the broad range that this guy has as a creator. So smart move, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Smart move.
Definitely. And I mean, other things happening. Showtime Documentary Films has announced that Martin Scorsese will direct a new feature documentary that centers on David Johansen, the frontman of hard rock band New York Dolls. I've never heard of New York Dolls.
No, they're old.
Okay.
They're old.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Yeah.
But he loves doing these things. He just did one for Bob Dylan for Netflix.
Yep.
So, I mean, go check that out. But, yeah, that's awesome. He is also going to co-direct with David Telici.
Yep.
And Scorsese and Silica Productions will executive produce with Brian Grazer, Ron Howard's Imagine Documentaries.
Yeah, and they've been killing it with the Beatles documentary and all the kind of stuff. So this makes sense.
Yeah.
And, Scorsese loves New York.
Yeah.
Okay, so anything kind of involving that, it's going to be good.
I mean, and this is just a bunch of amazing genius creators all in one room.
Exactly.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
If I could just be a fly on the wall for one day,
right?
Dude.
Just to listen to that process, would be epic.
Oh my goodness. But now, going over to the Peacock. Guys.
Oh my God.
NBC Universal, Comcast said that it's still going to launch July 15th. So coming up next week, I don't know if anyone's excited. I'm not. I'm impartial, whatever. But they have said that they have still not signed a deal with Roku or Amazon Fire Stick. I don't know why them and HBO Max are doing this. I just recently found out because logging into my Xbox, I don't really use that as my main entertainment source, but HBO Max is on the Xbox. So, I mean, that's that. But the most popular ones are Roku and Amazon Fire Stick.
Yeah.
So I'm completely confused by that. They're still trying to make it happen. The Peacock is, but they're saying that, I mean, they're going to go full force with it, though. I mean, they're using it as a marathon and not a race, said one of the spokesperson.
That's an excuse.
Whatever, man.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest with you. If I can't find it on my Roku, I'm not watching it.
Right.
And that HBO Max, I will not watch until it's the only place I can watch those superhero shows.
Right.
Because until the Green Lantern series comes on there, until it's the only place I can watch Doom Patrol or whatever, I'm just not getting it.
Exactly.
If it's not on Roku, I'm not getting it.
Exactly. And I mean, as we talked about on the show at the beginning of the year, Dick Wolf signed a huge 9-figure deal spanning broadcast, streaming, and that he will keep him as sibling with Universal Television for at least 5 years.
Yep.
And the deal with Peacock to air majority of his library, like Law and Order and the Chicago franchises.
Right. So
yeah,
you're gonna get the Law and Order and Chicago shows on the Peacock.
Peacock.
But can't you still get them on TNT? I'm pretty sure you can.
I
don't know if that's going to stop, but I'm just pretty sure you can still watch them right there.
Yeah.
So, but okay, here's the big thing though. Okay, so we know that Universal, let's just say NBC Universal has locked down Dick Wolf, right? Well, now they want original series from him. And they're trying to work out a deal to provide Dick Wolf to provide original series for the Peacock.
Provide that dick.
Yeah. So here's the thing, though. This is kind of exciting. There's a rumor that 2 of his previous series, one that aired for 4 years, and then another one that got a 13-episode commitment but never aired, both apparently are being talked about to be brought back as part of that original deal for Peacock.
Interesting.
It's Law and Order Hate Crime, which did get a 13-episode commitment from NBC, but then they shelved it saying they wanted to make sure they got it right, and they kind of backburnered it, and so it never went anywhere.
Yeah.
So that's a possibility. And the other one is New York Undercover, which ran for 4 seasons on Fox, and everybody loved it, and then it just kind of went away. So now they're talking about bringing that one back. So
if I was Dick Wolf, I'd be like, oh, so now you want to use my content. I don't know, man. I don't know. Especially that one, freaking New York Undercover. Like, what the fuck? If it had a nice little following, why did you take it off?
Yeah, and I feel like, honestly, it would be a mistake if you do part of the Law and Order franchise not on NBC Network.
Yeah, right?
Because they're all on NBC Network.
Yeah.
I feel like it's got to go there first before you... and they probably made the decision because, they're coming back with Stabler's show.
Yeah.
Right? So you couldn't do both, probably. Yeah. So, I mean, who knows? But
who freaking knows, man? But, I mean, a lot of people know now that Universal Pictures' Jurassic World has started back production this week in the UK. The studio is denying the press report of they halted because somebody on the staff had COVID positive test results, but I mean they're good, guys. They're good. Don't believe the rumors you are hearing. They're good to go.
Yeah, they said they are in day 5 of filming. Everything is fine. That story was not true. And this is part of what we were talking about at the top of the show. This was one of the films that was in that deal with the exemption of the 14-day quarantine to allow them to get back to shooting and everything. And so thankfully it wasn't true that they got it date 1 back, because that would have shut down Batman again. That would have shut down everything.
Dude,
but not true.
It would have been insane.
It would have been crazy.
Insane. I mean, we need new movies, guys. We need new movies. I mean, Regal didn't really announce it, but they just kind of slipped it in there that they're not opening July 10th. Today's the day they should have been opening.
Yes.
It's going to be July 31st.
Right.
So, I mean, it is what it is, man.
Today was Tenet Day.
Yeah.
It was.
I mean, it was
not
supposed
anymore.
to be. It's fucking supposed to be, but it's absolutely wild. I mean, even Universal is still pushing things back, and I mean, I see this for the foreseeable future that it's still going to keep going.
Agreed.
But now they're pushing back the openings of Candyman and the 2 Halloween sequels. Candyman's only getting pushed back 3 weeks, but Halloween is getting pushed back a whole year, which delays the other one a whole year, because they're literally like, they're committed to releasing those around Halloween. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense, but still.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, but I mean, I was so excited when for 3 years in a row, we talked about it like way back, probably about a year ago, but when they said they were going to release 3 different Halloween films in 3 years.
Yeah.
That's really exciting, but then when you kind of take a year off, I don't know. I hope they don't lose momentum with that franchise.
I know, because I feel like it was really building back up.
They
had gone back to the original storyline with Jamie Lee Curtis, so it was a new trilogy, but with the original people.
Yeah.
And it did. It was kicking ass. I think everybody kind of liked the return to the original, and now you're right. It's kind of off the track, and will that kill momentum? And I don't know, man. I don't know.
I hope everything stays good, man.
And did they slow it down? Did they push it back so that they could fast track another one?
Yeah.
Wolfman.
Yeah.
Remember they were going to try to build the Universal Monsters universe, and it failed horribly with Tom Cruise's The Mummy and like all that.
Bad.
Well, they're still trying to do Universal's Monsters, and Wolfman is coming, and apparently they fast-tracked this thing.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling has signed on to play Wolfman, and they've brought in Jason Blum to produce. So, I mean, Bloom needs a hit. We've been talking about this the last couple months. He's been missing left and right
lately. The past
lately.
2 years have been rough on my man.
So, and yeah, Deadpool 2 and Fast and Furious presents Hobbs Shaw's. I want to get his name right. No, never mind.
No.
I can't do it. It's something. But anyway, Bloom bringing into produce makes sense to me if they're going to try to go the horror route with Wolfman, but. I don't know, man.
I don't know either. I've never been a huge fan of that universe, and I mean, let's see what happens, I guess. But it's,
Yeah.
Yeah, what are your guys' opinions on it? We want to know. Why not? I mean, we'll see.
Yes.
We'll see what happens.
Yes.
We'll see what happens.
Sony.
Holy shit.
It's not Spider-Man.
It's not.
We promise it's not Spider-Man,
No.
but it is somebody we think you'll like.
Fucking yeah. Like, it's one of the best. Fucking Brad Pitt.
He's a close runner-up to Patrick Dempsey in The Man Crush, I think. It's the hair. He's got...
Whatever. But he is signed on to star in Bullet Train.
That just sounds cool.
I know, right?
Brad Pitt in Bullet Train.
Dun, dun.
I mean, it sounds badass.
Yeah, action movie from Sony Pictures. Also attached David Leitch from Deadpool 2, Fast and Furious, and Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw to direct.
Yeah, so there you go. He's involved in a bunch of shit.
Yeah, right?
But, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, Bullet Train, so it's going to obviously have something to do with, fast trains.
Yeah.
I would guess. Bullet Train.
Yeah.
So, but it's Brad Pitt.
Exactly.
If it's Brad Pitt and it's action and it has anything to do with, fast, it's going to be good.
Dude, so badass.
It's going to be...
so badass. And let's not forget, Brad Pitt was in Deadpool 2.
He was.
And
jumped out of the parachute.
And died. Yeah,
and died.
Yeah.
It's true. No, a lot of people don't know that.
No.
But it's absolutely... Go watch it. Now, how many people you think listening are going to go back and watch
exactly.
it? What? No,
exactly.
he wasn't.
Yeah, he was.
He
He's in the Marvel Universe. He's in there. But now, Lionsgate. This is the second week in a row we're talking about Lionsgate.
It's true.
But, I mean, they have signed they've signed a deal with... the one and only, the only that matters.
That's
Oprah.
right. Oprah.
They have partnered with the 2020 Putzler Prize award-winning journalist.
Or Pulitzer.
Pulitzer. Sure, Nicole Hannah-Jones and New York Times to develop Hannah-Jones' interactive project, the 1619 Project, and along with the NYT podcast, 1619 into an expansive portfolio of films, television series, and documentaries of unscripted programming for other forms of entertainment. Now, this is going to talk about enslaved African Americans. It's basically going to, teach us everything. Teach us something, Oprah.
Right.
I'm so excited.
Right. Hence the 1619.
Exactly.
With the first arrival of slaves.
Yes.
In the country, and look, anything with Oprah's name on it is going to be good.
Exactly.
All right. Make no mistake about that. If Oprah signed on, it's good.
Exactly.
Because Oprah don't sign on to stuff that ain't good. Oprah takes her name off of stuff that
we've
she
talked
thinks
about it. Yeah.
Exactly. So this is gonna be good.
Exactly. Exactly. And I mean, it's gonna deal a lot with how there's multiple similarities of back then and now, and it's gonna be a real good education piece. Everybody should watch this.
And what I like is that most of the contributors are all going to be African American.
Yes.
So they're gonna come at this from culture and different avenues, and whether it be music or television or film or all the different things that are going to go into this project, it's going to be from African American creators. So it's going to be really good. I think.
Epic, man. So freaking epic. Well, you guys know that Netflix is one of Netflix's biggest shows is The Crown. We've talked about it before, saying that if they were going to end around season 5.
Yeah.
But now they're like, no, we're gonna last until season 6.
Yeah. Apparently, Peter Morgan decided to change his mind.
Yeah.
And this is the rare thing, because we talk about this all the time about how Netflix, you're lucky if you get past 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Right? So Netflix, even giving 5 to The Crown, was like, what?
Yeah.
It's like one of the longest running things since House of Cards, right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't their decision to stop it. It was the creator, Peter Morgan's decision. But now he's had to change of heart.
Yeah.
He's like, maybe we can finish this out.
Yeah.
And so it is going to be 6 seasons.
Pretty
now.
exciting, man. Pretty exciting. I know a lot of people are ready to see that. I'm ready. I hope it deals a lot with after the death of Diana. I hope that they try to humanize the queen, because everybody thought she was very stone cold.
Yes.
They were surprised she did come out of the castle on the streets and, do that whole thing. But, I mean, I feel like she gets a bad rap sometimes.
She does. Now, I think it is going to end in that era, though.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, because he made it perfectly clear, just because he's coming back and he's decided to do a 6th season, he said it will not go to modern time or current time and deal with the whole, William and
Meghan,
Harry and Meghan and all. It's not going to. So I think you're right. I think it'll probably end on the death of Diana. We know season 5 is going to deal with the introduction of Diana and all that kind of stuff. So it only makes sense, I think, that season 6 would be that follow through on that story.
Yeah.
And see that kind of finish off. So
yeah.
I don't know.
And if somehow y'all could make it work to where she, all 3 queens will be like in the same room. That would be badass.
Oh my
I don't
gosh.
know how that would work, but if you could figure it out to get Claire Foy, Olivia Colman, and the other lady back for all of it, it would be so badass.
They kind of did it with Olivia Colman and Claire Foy when she was looking at the younger picture of herself, and it was Claire Foy's picture. Yeah. So I don't know, but it'd be interesting though. You're right, to somehow have like, I don't know, that'd be really cool.
And I mean, Netflix is renewing Dead to Me for its 3rd and final season. Like we were talking about, you're lucky if you get past 3.
What is up with that? I don't understand that.
I don't know, man. It's really weird. Series creator Liz Feldman will return an executive producer and showrunner under the big overall deal she signed with the streamer. Under the multi-year deal pact, Feldman will also develop new original series. So that's the next one. On to the next one.
That's right. That's right.
It's weird,
I'm gonna be honest. You and Lil Kim got me hooked on that show.
It's good.
It's really phenomenal. If you guys have not watched it, it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Linda Cardellini, she's just fantastic in it. And Christina Applegate, it's just a really good show. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. And then you can ask yourself the same way we are, why are you ending it after 3?
Yeah. Who knows, man? Who freaking knows? And I mean, they also came out this past week with an announcement that they are going to cancel Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which I'm honestly surprised about because I know that was a big cult following, like Riverdale and Katie Keene, the one that was like a spinoff of Riverdale that just recently got canceled on the CW. But I guess talking to more people who love this series, they said that the last part is literally probably like the peak of, so it makes sense for it to go off.
Yeah, so it's been bad for the creator of that,
like
that
Archieverse drama.
Yeah, because like you said, they canceled Katie Keene. Now Sabrina's going out the door. Riverdale's ratings have been dropping, and the one pilot that he had, I guess, a commitment for at ABC, they decided that was one of those 10 they decided not to move forward with. So he's feeling the heat.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are speculating maybe Riverdale's in trouble too with the cancellation of Katie Keene and now Sabrina. Both take place in the Archieverse there. So I mean,
season 1 was probably its best, and then it kind of just went downhill from there, man.
I feel like a lot of people lost interest after Luke Perry died.
Yeah,
I really do feel like that happened, and so
I lost interest when they started to do some like satanic Dungeon and Dragon shit,
which was the intro right for Sabrina.
Yeah.
Right? That's kind of how they went into the witch world and kind of stuff, but it was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was not my cup of tea. Not my cup of tea. But interesting, man. Interesting. Heading over to Amazon now, like we were talking about, Amazon Fire TV. I mean, it's basically trying to do the same thing that Apple's kind of doing, making them like the one-stop shop of all your streaming services. And with this, they have expanded its year-old effort to promote live programming, which now includes Hulu TV, Hulu Plus Live TV, YouTube TV, and Sling TV. So you can just basically sign on with your Fire Stick and like go to your Netflix, go to your Hulu Live, like all this shit. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But I like Amazon more than Apple because I feel like that Apple's weird because it's literally like I can download my app like outside of this app, but you want me to sign in to my Apple app and then sign in through my Netflix app through this app?
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
It's
kind of weird, but yeah, I think Amazon is simplifying it very much. So, I mean, there you go. You can get all your live TV on Amazon.
I mean, and here's the crazy thing, right? Like, if you're going to watch HBO Max through Apple or through Amazon, you still have to have the subscription to HBO Max, right? So I'm thinking all these people just need to work out a deal and just make one app. And that's what you pay for that includes all of your subscriptions.
Exactly.
So that, like you said, you're not signing into one to watch another to do that. Why not just, they're clearly all working together and allowing their stuff to be on the other one anyway.
Yeah.
So just make it a one-stop. This is the place you go to watch all your subscriptions.
Exactly.
Right? That's what it should be. Roku.
Yeah,
like
right
just
there.
let Roku be your place where you go and watch all your subscriptions.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know.
Listen to us. Listen to us. But Amazon, we talked about way back also that Viola Davis is partnering with Amazon an overall deal.
Yes.
And Julius Tinnen's Juvie Productions is staying in business with Amazon Studios. So that's awesome. The company has expanded its exclusive first look deal to include television in addition to a film deal as part of the new pact. And they will continue to develop, produce features as well as television series to premiere exclusively on Amazon Prime and in more than 200 countries and territories worldwide.
I'm excited.
That's probably like the biggest pact they have with a creator or production company.
Well, I'm a huge fan of Viola Davis.
Same.
I just think she's one of the most creative, not just in front of the camera, but behind the camera creators in the industry right now, and she's kicking ass, and so good for Amazon for recognizing that and signing her up to a big ass deal.
Seriously,
you know, because this woman deserves it. She's putting out quality shit, and she's going to continue to do that. So congratulations, Viola. Come on the show.
Exactly.
Come on the show.
Viola, come on the show. They are also going towards like the more supernatural stuff because this past couple of weeks we've talked about they're developing some supernatural content.
It's true.
Amazon Studios has put in development Tether, a supernatural drama from the Blacklist scribes Kevin Hamendi, sure, and Travis Beats from The Saviors, and Daniel Day Kim and his 3AD production company. This project was brought to the studio by Kim under his first look deal with the studio, and it's the first project in development for 3AD under the new pact. And so Tether follows a terrifying journey of Madeline Woods, a woman driven to find her kidnapped husband and son and extract revenge on those who hurt them and murdered her. What? She is now a ghost and tethered to the house that she died in. Madeline must find a way to escape her supernatural prison to save the loved ones' lives.
Interesting.
What the fuck?
That sounds really kind of badass,
like,
though.
How do you get out? We gotta watch. Like, how does she get out?
Yeah, you hear about stories like all the time about if you ever do this, I'm gonna come back as a ghost and kill you.
Yeah.
Well, apparently this story's gonna be about that. She coming back and she gonna kill you. Like, I could say the same thing about Daniel Day Kim as Viola Davis. Just a dude that in front of the camera had a lot of success on Lost and Hawaii Five-0 and just a bunch of stuff, but a serious guy behind the camera too as a creator, and now with his deal putting out quality stuff. So congratulations to both of them, and congratulations to Amazon for showing diversity.
Exactly.
Man. Viola Davis and Daniel Day Kim, you got it going, man. It's all about diversity.
And like we talked about earlier, or last week or a couple weeks ago, like I was really like hardcore on like it needs to be more than just black, just white.
Right.
Then bringing in the Asian community. Epic. Giving all colored creators an opportunity. Go Amazon.
That's right. You know what else does a really fine job of merging like all of the races and cultures? With Asian and African American and white and Council of Dads. And it would be a fine home at Amazon. It would be great for Amazon to just continue that diversity and bring that home.
Just bring
that home. All right.
Just saying. Oh my goodness. Now heading over to Apple. Apple's doing some things. Oscar nominee. Oh shit. Oh.
Yeah. Quavenzane. Let's go that. Quavenzane Wallace.
Yes. Behind Annie, Beast of the Southern Wild.
That's right.
Is set to lead alongside O'Shea Jackson Jr. in Swagger, Apple's new basketball-themed drama. The series is from NBA superstar Kevin Durant.
Yeah, we've talked about this. It's a story that's going to be about his coming up, basically a loosely based autobiographical series about his life coming up as a basketball player. And she's going to play a young female basketball star.
Yeah.
Look, guys, if you've ever seen, Beasts of the Southern Wild, she's brilliant. If you haven't seen that movie, by the way, it was a small indie production shot in Louisiana after Katrina, and about this family that kind of goes through it. And she's really little in that, but she was nominated for the Oscar for that role. This is a phenomenal young talent. And then in Jamie Foxx's Annie, she was Annie. So just brilliant. So this is going to be good. I mean, Apple, I like,
agree.
is cherry picking some talent, man, and good for them, man.
They're going for some good content. They're going for like the content people are going to talk about. I
think
like.
so. I think so.
I'm super excited for that one.
Yeah, me too. I can't believe she's old enough to be like a basketball superstar.
Right.
Yeah. Is she already that old now? Like, was Beast that long ago? Yes, it was.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Guys, it's been like 3 months since Quibi launched, and they give you that 90-day free trial. Well, it seems like not a lot of people are sticking with them, and we are one of them.
Yes,
or 2 of them.
Only 8%, y'all.
Yeah,
only 8%. 72,000 people that signed up are the only ones staying.
Fuck.
And remember, they said a couple million, right?
Yeah.
72,000, guys.
Yeah.
It's dead. It's dead in the water.
It's not.
Which is unfortunate because I just saw the trailer for Die Hard. You know, Kevin Hart's one where he wants to be an action star and he goes to action school with John Travolta. It looks fucking hilarious, and nobody's gonna see it.
It should have been on there from the jump.
Yep, and you know what? Kevin Hart just needs to move that to his own channel. He's got his own like outlet, his own channel. I think
something like that.
He should just put that on there and go with it, or try to pitch it to a network because it looks like it's gonna be hilarious.
Well, yeah, and we talked about like Netflix and the other streamers trying to come at the short-term content like that. So I mean,
do it.
Yeah, but Quibi. I don't know how much longer that one's gonna last. It will land fewer than 2 million paying subscribers by April 2021. Well below the 8 million they projected.
Yeah, well, 8 million was lofty to begin with, but less than 2 million in a year.
Yeah. Bad, man.
That's like, Disney signed that many up with Hulu Plus with Hamilton right now.
Yeah.
Like, kidding, 500,000, but still you get my drift.
Yeah.
500,000 in one weekend for Hamilton, 72,000 in 3 months.
Yeah. I mean,
That's enough said right there.
Disney Plus is so good. Not Hulu Plus. But now it is time, guys. Now it is time for the one and only Scott Alda Coffey to come on this show. I'm always intrigued and interested to hear from theatrical actors to go to on-screen actors. So I was really happy to talk to him about that and that transition and how that all came about and how that worked out.
Me too. And I always like hearing people who aren't from the community.
Yeah.
You guys recognize the name. We talked about it at the top of the show and everything. But he wasn't in Hollywood, even though he comes from a Hollywood family.
Yeah.
He was in Massachusetts.
Yeah, exactly.
And he meant to make the move from Massachusetts, not necessarily known as an acting mecca, to go out to L.A. I always like hearing those stories too. Like, How did that go? How did that happen?
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, you guys are really going to love this one. This one it's his big one. It's his big one. It's his breakout role. And, I mean, he's a scene stealer, guys. He's a freaking scene stealer. So be sure to go watch The Outpost after you listen to the rest of the show. But now, here's his interview. Here he is.
Scott Alda Coffey, welcome inside the Crazy Ant Farm, man. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks, guys, for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, dude, we are super excited to have you on, man. We've been talking about this film for a while. When it was first announced, we got super excited. We do this like industry section of the show and industry news section, and dude, we've been talking about this forever. So we're super stoked to have you on and talk about it.
I'm really glad.
And
thank you.
Yeah, you bet, man. So listen, what we first like to do, because we have a lot of listeners out there who are trying to get into the industry, and so we always like to have our guests kind of start off with telling a little bit about themselves and their journey as to how they got started in the industry. Was it something that you always wanted to do, something that you always envisioned yourself? And we'll talk about the heritage. We can't not talk about that,
Of course. I figured that was going to come up at some point.
but I'm always curious because sometimes people with the heritage and with the family do not want to do it. So what was your path? How did you get involved?
Yeah, it's interesting. My mom always told me that I've kind of been saying I've been wanting to be an actor since I was like 3 years old.
There you go.
And I think even then, like, I don't think I fully knew exactly what it meant or what it entailed, but like I was very like persistent that like this is what I was going to do. So like from a very, very young age, I started like doing like little like summer camps where we'd all like act out storybooks and stuff like that, and I think I did my first full show the summer going into fourth grade, I was in a production of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
So you were an underachiever. No.
I was an underachiever, exactly.
well, I did my first production in fourth grade. Wow. Man, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I think so once I did that, I realized that oh yes, I really like this. This is what I want to do. So then I was consistent. Any local productions that were like auditioning or that I could sign up for, I did. I joined a regional theater by me, which is where I first started to get into like Shakespeare and stuff, because they had they did a lot of classes there. And then there was an art high school near me called Walnut Hill School for the Arts that I about junior year of high school I joined and ended up going to, or I auditioned for and got in for, and went there for 2 years. And that's where I heard about Carnegie Mellon, where I then went and got my BFA in acting. And then pretty much right after that, I came out to LA.
And we should mention this journey all started in Massachusetts.
Right.
Yes.
Not the hotbed known for actors, right? Like how was that like?
No, I got pretty lucky with the town I grew up in, that it was a pretty art-centric area. There are a lot of community theaters near me, and there was also a like youth program in my town called Cooperative Theater, that basically kids could start doing theater there from a very young age. I think it was like going into like third grade, and they did a lot of shows. They did like a summer show for like third through eighth graders, then they did a spring musical from like fourth through sixth graders, and then a fall show for like sixth through eighth. So like I had like a lot of variety of opportunity there. So that was really lucky, I think, to be able to have that, because a lot of towns don't have that opportunity.
Right. I
so
mean, we see
really
nowadays so many schools canceling arts programs and and the music programs and stuff. So it is good that when you find a community that supports it.
Absolutely. And it's always heartbreaking when I hear that, because I feel like, I think even if you don't plan on going into the arts or becoming an actor or anything like that, I do feel like having an artistic background can really help you grow.
Agreed.
As a person. So I always get encouraged when I do see towns that really encourage art programs.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. And let's talk about the jump a little bit, moving out to LA, because it sounds like, coming from a theater background, I'm interested to see why you chose LA over New York, which is more of the theater hub. Were you more interested in joining like the film and television side, or did you go out to LA and still pursue theater, or how'd that all go?
Yeah. So I mean, I grew up watching a lot of movies. Like my family would go to the movies every weekend. I grew up watching a lot of television. Nickelodeon was my jam when I was young.
Definitely.
So I definitely was very interested in that. What I had always done was theater, because that was what was accessible to me. And what was available. But I think at a certain point in college, I got a little burned out because I was doing so much of it.
That makes sense.
That I wanted to kind of explore the other parts of the industry that I was a little more new to me.
Right.
And that just happened to be television and film. And so what I did is, before I officially moved out to LA, right after college, the summer before going into senior year, I decided to come out here for the summer to make sure that this is really the move I wanted to make.
Right.
Smart.
That LA was right. And I instantly fell in love with it. I started taking some acting classes out here, and it was like this. And I think part of because it felt so foreign to me and so mysterious. I think that was kind of part of the pull.
Right.
Definitely.
It was different. Yeah. So that I think helped a lot. And so when I moved out here, it was just kismet. I immediately fell in love.
Did you find the transition from theater to film and television difficult, or did you enjoy the challenge? We've had a lot of guests on in the past say, that when they first got involved in it, they would catch themselves overacting a lot, because on stage you've got to have that presence, you've got to be loud and bold.
Absolutely.
And they had to kind of tone it down a little bit when they made the transition. Did you find that as well, or because of the burnout, did you kind of make the transition a little bit smoother?
It ended up being a little trickier than I thought it was going to be, because I realized I had all these because I had been doing it so long and I was trained in a very specific way, because I was trained classically, I had a very specific way of approaching things.
Right.
And just naturally, when I would approach text and everything, when I would do it, I was more theatrical. I was performing for an audience. I was presenting myself for the back of the auditorium. So there, in a lot of ways, I did kind of feel like I had to relearn how to act in certain respects, because I learned that I had to have this almost like this dial that that I had to like turn down every time I was performing.
Right.
And it took a lot of work, because it was so instinctual for me to be bigger, to perform for an audience.
That makes sense. Yeah, because I was just about. Oh,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, but with a lot of work, I feel like I've become a better actor in the past 4 years out here, because I feel like I did practice a lot of that, of how to work that dial and tone it all down and have it be so much more organic and just internalize things a lot more than I necessarily was before.
Right, I can definitely imagine. Yeah, I was gonna ask, were you always just looking for that instant reaction that you normally get for theater, like you're like or like a clap or something like that? But then with being in a room, you're just like, oh, everybody's just still staring at me. I don't know what's going on.
Well, exactly. There was like a lot of I would always, because probably my strongest form of acting growing up was always comedy.
Yeah.
So I really fed off of another audience.
Definitely.
So that always informed my performance. So that was definitely a learning curve, like doing comedy and TV and film, of like, oh, they can't laugh because the camera's rolling.
Right.
I can't work off of them.
Yeah.
It's like, but I need this instant gratification.
Right.
I need to know.
Right, exactly.
It's like, that is the one perk of theater. You know immediately whether you're sailing or sinking, right?
Exactly.
I mean, you know.
It's so true. It's so true.
Box office, you got to wait for the results, right? That's like, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it takes so long before you know, it's like, oh God, are people going to like this?
Right.
It's always interesting to hear the whole and then I love that you bring up comedy, because we hear so often comedy is like so much harder than drama and so much harder than the other. I love that you excelled at comedy, to get into it. That's fantastic.
Yeah, which is cool. And actually, since I've been in LA, I've done a lot more drama. That's just kind of been what's come about. So it has been interesting. Like, now I feel like I've done more drama than comedy. So it's also, it kind of feels like it's taking more to like get back into that comedy mindset that I grew up doing now than I used to.
So let's talk about it, because the ever-changing landscape of the industry, right? From the theatrical to streaming wars, and should it be in theaters, should it not be in theaters? And even how it's kind of changed the landscape of television, where it's now kind of all kind of geared towards streamers as opposed to linear network, How has that affected your approach as an actor? What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that the streaming and the move towards the streaming and a shorter theatrical window is a good thing or a bad thing?
I think there are pros and cons to it. I think it's been really, really good for television. There's been a lot of, like, where we've been in this golden age of television for like the past 10 years. And it's just like, there's been a lot of good stuff being produced.
Right.
Because they have more capability, more money, more access to really amazing writers and showrunners. And that's been really, really cool to see. And something that I'll say in regards to more movies premiering in streaming is something that has done is open up this opportunity for more smaller films.
Yeah,
right.
Movies that probably wouldn't have access otherwise. And that's been really, really cool to see. However, I will say that I do think there is something really, really, really special about the theatrical experience, about being in a theater with like a group of strangers experiencing this film together.
Agreed.
That's really cool. And I really hope that doesn't go away. And I know that's definitely been a little nerve-wracking with the whole pandemic of like, oh, is this going to kill theaters or not? I don't think it will, because I do think there are just some movies that just really thrive on the big screen. And there are some that thrive on the small screen. So I think there is this pros and cons type thing. So I hope that the theatrical experience doesn't go away, just that there's there's just a slight shift.
Yeah, I mean, Dustin and I talk about it off air all the time, that we probably think that it's going to go back to one or two theaters in a movie theater, and like the tentpole movies are getting shown and everything else just get redirected to streamers. I mean, because that's where it seems like that's where they strive, honestly. I mean, you find a great indie film on like Amazon Prime or Netflix and you just love it. But I feel like, for example, Honey Boy,
Right.
Shia LaBeouf's
Yes.
Honey Boy. I feel like
Yeah.
that one is striving on Amazon Prime, but barely anyone went and saw it in the theater. So it's like you said, pros and cons of both.
100%. Yeah, and I think like as you guys said, yeah, I think what really has been striving in the movie theaters are the blockbusters.
Yes.
Yep.
Those are kind of the movies that people want to see and on a big screen because they become like these event films.
Right.
Exactly.
Oh, you have to see them opening weekend together in an audience.
Yeah.
That's
But
it.
yes, these smaller indie films are getting opportunity that they otherwise probably wouldn't get
Yep.
through these streaming services like Netflix and Amazon and Hulu, and that's really cool. And I think that's really important.
Agreed. And you bring up a great point about the pandemic because there's no doubt that things will not be the same after this thing ends.
Right.
And
Yes.
so I agree. We agree wholeheartedly. Like, I really do think it's going to be the tentpole or event movies that are going to be in the theaters. And I see the multi-screen cineplexes just kind of disappearing. And like Logan said, kind of going back to your marquee where you've got one screen and you're going to see that tentpole movie and it's going to be the movie that you have to go see in the theaters. And the rest are
Right.
going to kind of transition. And I think that's a good thing in a way because the pandemic, I think, is going to lend to that, with having
Absolutely.
to do the distancing and the smaller crowds and everything. But let's talk about it. You do not want to go see, and let's get into this because we're excited to talk about this. You do not want to go see The Outpost not in a theater,
Exactly.
right? I mean,
Yes.
that's the kind
That's-
of film that screams you have to be in a theater setting to
Yes.
see
Yes.
it, right?
That exactly, and that I think was probably one of the hardest things with the pandemic. Obviously there's a lot of really hard things with the pandemic. I mean, this is like the worst of it. But, so don't want to indicate that. But what was really hard is that we really filmed this movie to be seen in a theater.
Absolutely.
It screams big screen experience. So South by Southwest getting canceled, it being reduced to a limited screenings was really hard, and I think that definitely hurts. I am glad that it is going to be out there, and I think it was really important for it to be released on 4th of July weekend instead of just continuously to push it
Right.
so that it can be on the big screen.
Yep.
So I'm glad people will get to see it. And Rod, our director, keeps saying to people, even if you have to see it at home, make sure you see it on the biggest screen possible
Yes.
with the loudest and biggest sound system. Make sure you watch it in one sitting. Like he try to replicate the movie cinematic experience as much
Exactly.
as possible.
Exactly. Well, I
'Cause
gotta
it
tell you,
deserves that.
just based on what we've seen so far and what we know from the film, I have got to tell you, I think you're going to get that theatrical experience and release because this is a contender, I would have to say, for award season.
Agreed.
And I think you're going to get a re-release when you're allowed to get back in the theaters because I think people are going to want to see it in the theaters. So I really do think you guys are going to get what you set out to or envisioned with this film. I think we will see it in theaters eventually on a wide scale, which is a good thing. And I really want to talk about this because it's based on Jake Tapper's book, for anybody who doesn't know, The Outpost, An Untold Story of American Valor. It's a true story, and
Yes.
it's a really heart-wrenching, heartbreaking story that's kind of one of those lesser-known stories, and it needed to be told. And I think that the way you guys went about it is brilliant. The cast is fantastic. Orlando Bloom, Scott Eastwood. I mean, you couldn't have picked a better film to like kind of have a breakout moment, right?
I know. Yeah, it's
I
pretty
mean,
amazing.
it's absolutely brilliant. Let's talk about how you got involved in it, the audition process, or how that all came about, and what was it like, your research for playing Sergeant Scusa? And I hope I didn't butcher his name. I hope that's correct.
Yeah.
Sergeant Scusa. How'd that all come about, man?
Yeah, I could do 1,000 films in my career, and I feel like this movie will always be one of the most important films I do.
Mm-hmm.
So I was lucky enough. I actually knew Rod Lurie before he was signed on for the film. I had met him probably about a year, maybe a little longer before the film started shooting, and I had met him because he knew my grandfather because my grandfather actually did a couple of his movies,
Right.
and I just met him just to get his advice about the industry, about steps to take as an actor and all that stuff, and it was just like a kind of a meet and greet breakfast.
Mm.
And he was so sweet, so kind, and so courteous, and was giving me a lot of great advice. And then in the in the meeting, he asked me what I did as a side hustle, what I did to make, actually make money. And I said, well, actually, I'm a dog walker. And dog sitter. I dog sit for a living. And he was like, oh my God, I actually need a dog sitter for next weekend.
Wow. Wow.
And I was like, yeah, I should be available. So then I ended up becoming like his go-to dog sitter for a while, and I got to know him more, and he's literally the nicest guy you could imagine. And so at a certain point, when the script was being developed for this project, this role came about of this real life American hero, Michael Scusa, and he reached out to me. He was like, hey, actually, I think there's this role that you might be really good for. Look at the script, and if you connect with it, put yourself on tape, and I'll make sure it gets to the producers and the casting and everything. And I read the script, and what blew me away in the script was that I was almost embarrassed because I hadn't heard of the story before.
Right.
I didn't know about this incident. It was the biggest battle in the entire 19-year Afghanistan war.
Yep.
Oh wow.
And
Yep.
I couldn't believe it. So I immediately felt like, oh well, I really want to be a part of telling the story, because I'm like, well, if I don't know the story, there's a lot of people that don't.
Exactly.
So and I feel like the story has to be told. So I immediately got really excited about it. I got the audition sides for it and everything, and I had like 24 hours to put it on tape. I got I got together with my acting coach, and he like really helped me with it to make sure it was the best possible take it could be. But then it just so happens at the time I got the audition for it, I had a really bad cold. I was like, I was really sick. Yeah, just to add on to the stress.
Right.
So I was like downing tea between takes, to make sure I could get through it. But I worked so hard to get it right, and then I sent in the tape to them, and the following week I ended up getting the part, which was really exciting.
Amazing.
I couldn't believe it, and it was and so what really what was really lucky is I got to speak to some of his family,
right,
of Michael Scusa, as well as some people who knew him and served with him, and that was really special and important to me, because once I did that, it no longer was just a movie or
right.
like this could be my first big break. It was all of a sudden like, oh, I'm telling this important story. It's all about honoring this guy and making sure he that the story is told right. All of a sudden I'm like, I have to get this right.
Right.
I can't. Nothing else matters. All that really matters to me is that his family and his loved ones come out feeling like his story is told, and that he's being honored.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to talk, the challenge, because I feel like so many times the burden or responsibility of playing a real life person, and the stress of that can be put onto an actor about trying to portray that properly, especially if he does still have living family members, and there are people like that are going to be watching. Did you get my guy right? Did you get my person right? And so I love the process that you were talking about meeting the family and taking on the responsibility of making sure you honor him right. And it's fantastic and beautiful to hear when an actor takes the time to do it. And because I feel like sometimes you could just get lost in it and keep, like you said, it's a film, I'm going to do a performance and just move on. But to make sure that you get it right, I think is extremely important in these type roles. So kudos to you for doing it right, man.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And what was really exciting is that like everyone on set had that same goal, was to like tell this story right and to honor these soldiers and their families, and there was just so much passion and dedication behind it, which I think really shows in the final product.
Absolutely.
So that was really cool. And and we made sure, like if there are things in the script that we felt like or like during the process that we're like, I don't think this is right for the character, or I don't think he would have said something like this, we would be like, okay, yeah, let's axe that, or let's
Right.
do that. It was very collaborative, which was really, really great.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, I must say, after hearing all of that and how you want to portray him in the right way, I'm super excited to see this
Oh,
film.
good.
Like, just to hear your passion about it, and to hear, like, I have a soft spot for war movies, to be honest with you.
Right.
And then plus, because they're always portraying a real story in some sense.
Yeah.
So, especially like to hear the passion that was on set from everybody just to get this story right. I'm super pumped for this one.
And I have a feeling the passion is
glad.
going to show through, because everything I keep reading from Rod just keeps saying you're a scene stealer, bro. You like every
Yes.
time you're on the screen, you're like taking it. So I feel like that passion came through in the performance, which is going to be really exciting to
thank
see.
you.
And look, I got to tell you, that's one of the most interesting stories about how you get to getting a part
Yeah.
that it's like I've ever heard. That's so fantastic. So many good
Yeah.
things in there about like, well, okay, I'm going to be, I knew him because of my granddad, but now I'm his dog walker. And then, oh, hey, by the way, you should check out this script. It's so fantastic. And one thing I love is, because you had mentioned that Rod had known your granddad, and we should finally just put this out there. You guys have recognized the name, I'm sure, by now. Granddad is Alan Alda. Hawkeye Pierce himself, or so many other classic iconic roles. So the fact that Rod knew who your grandfather was, and it still wasn't like, oh, I'm just going to give you this role. You had to earn it. You had to like, look, I'm going to give you the
100%.
sides. You got to do this read. I'm going to pass it along, and if you get it, you get it. So much respect for both him and you for allowing that to be the process, because I feel like that's the way it should be done. You know?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I also would have felt weird if he just was like, take it, because I also feel like, I wanted to make sure that I was right for this role,
Exactly.
especially with the weight of the story and these real people. If I'm not right to portray Michael, then I probably shouldn't be playing him. I think I just got really lucky that I was right for the part.
And that, sir, is why you are an actor.
Exactly.
Because acting is an art and a craft, and you're not about the celebrity, you're not about the name, it's about the art, about the craft and what you do, and kudos to you, man. We just love having people come on here and are passionate about what they do and enjoy what they do and do it for all the right reasons, man. And you clearly, for being so young and coming up the way you have, you clearly have it all together, my friend.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. That means a lot.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. We're stoked to talk to you. I'm really, like Logan said, we can't wait to see this film, man.
I'm so excited for everyone to get to see it. I really think it's incredibly powerful, and it's I just think it's an important story, and I'm so excited.
Awesome. So okay, listen. Now comes all the crazy fun stuff, because we got to get people, and we're gonna drop some hard ones on you, and then we'll lighten it up a little bit. All right. Like we said at the top of the interview, we have a lot of listeners out here that are trying also to follow that path and get into the industry and see if they can make the break and get it out there. And you did mention that you went out there first to kind of test the waters, which I thought was really smart. But what we like to do is have our guests kind of pass along some tips, some advice for people trying to get into the industry, one, and two, some pitfalls that they should definitely look out for, some things that they should try to avoid.
Those are really good questions. I would have to say that, especially nowadays, I think something that is becoming really important for actors to do is to be willing to create their own work and put it out there. I think there sometimes is this hesitancy of just, whether it's nerves to to putting yourself out there creatively and like more than just like the acting part of like being the writer or the director. But like sometimes it doesn't have to be good. Sometimes just creating is important, and just and it can get those artistic juices flowing.
Right.
And I think that's so important. And I think that's also a great way to hone your skills. And also, you never know who sees this stuff as well. Sometimes that's how especially recently, you hear so many stories of the right people seeing just like these shorts that people put on YouTube or on Instagram that just, and then end up blowing up. You never know. I just think it's important to be able to continue to be creative, because also it can be such a exhausting, brutal industry sometimes. And I think it's really important to to continue to be active creatively. Otherwise, you can get burned out and you can get discouraged. And I think just continue to be creative. I just think that's key.
And I love what you said about it doesn't even have to be good. Because sometimes I feel like creators are never happy with what they put out because they're perfectionists. Exactly. We all are, right? Exactly. We all want it to be the best. But what you might think is subpar or not so good might be the hidden gem somebody's looking for, like you said, and they find it and then boom, So that's good stuff.
You never know.
And the pitfalls?
In the pitfalls, yes. There are a number in in this industry to be careful of.
No doubt.
One thing is, be mindful of the people you talk to, or the people you associate with, or the people or even the higher ups you talk to. If you're looking for acting studios, there are a lot of fantastic acting studios in the city,
right?
But there are also some that are a little scammy, and it just make sure you do your research. I always think that studios that run on word of mouth are usually the best, because they're running pretty much off of the people that go there, not just off of like ads you may see online or how well a acting teacher does. I've been really lucky that as soon as I came out here, I found an acting studio that I really love, and I've been with them since, and I just found such an amazing community. But it's a studio that really runs on the word of mouth of the students.
There you
go.
I
think that's really what helps it thrive.
Yeah.
So I think definitely just be mindful while either looking for acting studios or acting coaches, because there are a lot of fantastic ones out here. But there are also a lot that may be a little scammy. So just be cautious.
Yeah, definitely. And all throughout this interview, we talked about streaming and like being online and things like that. What are your thoughts on social media? Do you think it's a necessary tool that you need in today's entertainment industry, or is it kind of like a double-edged sword? Like you could go without it, and you could promote yourself. What do you think about it?
Oh, that's a tough one. I feel like it's such a mixed bag, because I don't have a Twitter. I've intentionally kind of tried to avoid Twitter.
I understand.
Yeah. I do have an Instagram, which I enjoy, but it's tough. I think it's definitely a good way to get seen and get people engaged in you and things. I've definitely been able to use it to get people excited about the movie,
right?
Which has been really good. But at the same time, it can be hostile if you're not careful. I've been lucky that so far I haven't encountered that, but I see things all the time, whether not just Twitter, it can be on Instagram too, or Facebook, or like just people that go online solely to attack you or to like mock you or whatever. So I think if you're able to block that negativity out of it,
right?
It can be a really useful tool. I do think.
Yeah, agreed wholeheartedly.
I think it's a good snapshot of life, right?
Yeah.
Like there's good and bad in every aspect. It's how you use it, right?
Exactly.
So, well, look, dude, this has been absolute pleasure to talk to you, man. And I mean, you're just like a class act, and continued success. Big things coming for you. I have no doubt. Like I said, this performance we know is just going to skyrocket, and we said bright future for you. And open invite, man. Anytime you want to come back on and talk about anything that you're working on, or just come on and shoot the shit with us, bro. I mean, whenever. Open invite, man.
Really appreciate that. Thank you. I would definitely love that.
Absolutely, man.
Okay. I've had a lot of fun. This has been fun.
Good.
Oh, good. And we got to tell everybody now, since you do have a good time on Instagram, tell everybody where they can follow you on Instagram, because we want them to know.
Yes. On Instagram, I'm at Alda Coffey. So just my full name. And you can also find me on my website at scottaldacoffee.com.
There you go. Knows how to market.
Exactly. We'll be sure to push everybody to your website and your Instagram, because like we said, we really appreciate you for taking some time and coming on the show and getting a little crazy with us.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Take care now.
All right, you too.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
So fun, man.
Yeah.
So fun. This guy, even being like brought up with a famous grandfather, like wanting to grind it out and create a name for himself, like I just love that, and how knowledgeable he is about the industry, taking advice from older people who came before him, and just a dog sitter.
Right, right. I love that. I'm just gonna have a meet and greet with a director, and it's okay that I'm a dog walker. I love that because how many times have we, I'm an actor, so if I get this meet and greet, I'm an actor.
Yeah.
No, I'm a dog walker.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
It's my life.
That's my life. And so his honest approach and the way that he just goes after everything, and because you're right, I mean, famous grandfather, famous great grandfather with Robert Alda, and just to do it on his own and do it the right way, and you can clearly hear the passion in his voice for what he does. Always refreshing, man.
Yeah, seriously. Thank you again, man, for coming on the show. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready to break out your tissues? Because we're bringing back some old memories that, I mean, not a lot of people want to talk about. But
no.
Yeah, it's so sad. It's so sad. But if you don't know, our top 5 this week is top 5 tragic movie deaths.
We might not be able to get through this without crying. I don't know. You're going to see.
It's so hard, man.
I mean,
so many good ones. And now after watching Hamilton, his son, like, oh my,
wow, it really got to you,
dude,
huh? Like, oh my gosh.
It's Quiet Uptown. I was like, and when his wife finally forgave him, like,
yeah, I think one of the saddest songs in there is not necessarily about the death, but That's Enough. Isn't that enough? Like that could be enough.
Yeah.
I love that song. That whole theme is like, and can't that be enough?
Yeah.
Isn't that enough? Just if you don't know what we're talking about, what's wrong with you? Why haven't you watched Hamilton yet?
Dude.
Fucking watch Hamilton.
Watch it.
All right.
Oh my goodness.
Back to the top 5.
But now, yes, my number 5. It was a rough one, man. Especially, I mean, 2 of my most favorite actors, Owen Wilson and Jennifer Aniston, are in this movie. But I'm talking about Marley and Me and Marley. That, I mean, everybody always hates when their pets die. It's honestly absolutely tragic. You feel like they're part of the family. And honestly, just to let y'all in on a little part of my life, today we had to put my cat down that I've had since I was like 7 years old, which is insane. So that one really hit home. But yeah, Marley and Me, man, freaking, you never want to put because they're like another sibling or another child, but I mean, you love your pets. But I mean, yeah, Marley and Me really got to me. I was bawling my eyes out.
I feel that. I mean, that makes me think about the art of Racing in the Rain too.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't the dog who died in that, it was a really sad scene when Amanda Seyfried dies.
Yeah.
And, that's your man crush guy.
Yeah.
No, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Producing.
Yeah. Well, he was supposed to star, but he aged out of it.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Because Patrick Dempsey is old, and that's okay.
It's okay.
It's all right.
We all age.
We have a theme going though. Mine is also animal.
Yeah.
My number 5 is also animal, and it's a rough one. You don't even see it happen on screen, but you know, and you cry. Bambi's mother, when you hear the gun,
so bad,
and you know Bambi's mom is gone.
It's so sad.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah,
it's rough. Bambi's mom. Nobody wants to talk about Bambi's mom.
Nobody wants to talk about that.
She was brutally murdered.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Everybody, nobody wants to talk about that scene when they talk about the greatness of Bambi. But yeah, you're right. But I mean, I could not be a Friends fan without quoting Friends and Chandler. Yeah, I got so sad when they stopped drawing the deer. But still, I mean, it's the sentiment. I didn't agree with Chandler at that point. But still, I just had to quote Friends.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. But Bambi's mom.
That's right.
You're like staring off into a distance.
It's like I don't
Bambi's
need
mom.
Bambi's mom.
I'm
just trying to picture Bambi's mom, and it's like I was young. Yeah. I wasn't grown up and realized the drawing. Okay, it was Bambi's mom.
I know it's so sad. It's so sad. Number 4 for me, it was a heartbreaker. It was a heartbreaker, man, because this was by far my favorite superhero in the MCU and made Robert Downey Jr. one of my favorite actors of all time, and then going back and watching his previous work. Iron Man in Avengers Endgame. So freaking sad but he had to do it. He had to save everybody because he's fucking Iron Man and Tony Stark. But when he snapped the fingers and freaking, especially when Peter Parker comes up to him. He's like, "No, Mr. Stark, Mr. Stark." I'm like, "Fuck, no!" And then Gwyneth Paltrow fucking pulls him back, and like, it's just so sad. But really, the saddest moment in that film was when fucking Happy was talking to his daughter. It was like, "I'll buy you all the cheeseburgers you want."
Exactly. Exactly. Heartbreaking. And I love the whole Peter Tony thing because it was a reversal. Remember?
It was.
Because in the first one, it was him, Peter dying. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. So it was kind of a reversal of the death scene there. So that was kind of cool.
Infinity War.
Yeah. And so, pretty
so
badass. My number 4, The Fault in Our Stars when Augustus dies.
No one saw that one coming.
No, you think it's her going to die the whole time, right? The whole time. But it's him. Yeah. Augustus dies. That one shook me.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. I mean, that was a rough one to watch.
Yeah.
It was a rough one. Always hard to watch cancer-type films anyway. And,
it is.
And what people go through and the loss and just all the stuff. That one was rough, though. Augustus just dying hit me. So that was a tough one.
Oh, so hard, man. So hard. My number 3, one of my all-time favorite movies in general, Saving Private Ryan. And I mean, how could you not get sad when Tom Hanks dies? Fucking Captain Miller and Saving Private Ryan. I mean, he was the leader the whole time, just wanting to fucking find the last Ryan brother.
And I feel like even though they were hinting at it throughout the entire movie, because the shake and I mean, you knew something was wrong with him, but you never really kind of were like, nah, he's not gonna die. I mean, something's wrong with him, but he's not gonna die. And then he dies.
It wasn't even wasn't even from the shake. It was because he got fucking shot.
Exactly, and you're like, what? No. I thought with the whole shake thing. Oh, excuse me. We were going to see him alive with an old Matt Damon.
Exactly.
And he maybe PTSD or some kind of a... we were going to see that.
Because remember they were doing like the flash forward scenes where they're at Arlington. You for sure thought that was Tom Hanks, but when it was actually fucking Matt Damon.
Yep. I don't know, man. That was a tough one.
It was.
That whole movie was tough, though.
So good.
The first opening sequence, just like...
storming the beach, man.
Got to be the most realistic war scene I've ever seen.
So good.
That was so good.
Yeah.
So good. My number 3, this one kind of really got to me, and then even more so after the death of Robin Williams. But Neil in Dead Poets Society. That was a tough one, man. All this kid wanted to do was finally follow his dreams, follow his passion, and his teacher inspired him, and he said, "No, Dad, I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna be a thespian. I'm gonna be, and is so heartbroken and disappointed when he realizes he will never be accepted as that. It will never be okay with his family, and kills himself.
Yeah.
It's just heartbreaking and gut-wrenching to me when somebody feels like they have to kill themselves because somebody doesn't believe in their dream or in their passion. And that just is, so it really, that one hit me.
Yeah.
That one's
especially when it's like suicide. Fucking, I'm surprised you didn't put the Jason Ritter one where, what's it
All About Alex.
All About Alex, yeah. It's always so rough when it's the suicide stuff.
It is. It's really difficult to deal with, and you just... guys, I don't know how to say it. If you've got somebody who's inspired and has a dream and has passion, don't kill that.
No.
Don't kill that, man, because you never know.
Exactly.
That's I think what I take away from that story every time I watch it. And then the irony of Robin Williams taking his own life.
Exactly.
Because he wasn't as happy as everybody thought he was.
Yeah.
And it just okay, that got really deep. But
I know.
I told you we might not get through this without crying, man.
I was about to say, sorry for the depressing top 5.
No.
We thought it was really good. But, I mean,
we warned you would need tissues. We warned you.
We did. Number 2 for me, I mean, spoiler alert for you, and Little Cam's not even going to listen to this, but Dumbledore and Harry Potter. Freaking... It's so sad. That's his mentor, literally the whole time. He goes through several mentors, but literally Dumbledore's always been there since day one, ever since he was a baby, trying to protect him through, Lord Voldemort, and then, the suspicious stuff happening with Snape, and just all this stuff, but to actually see him die, and by Snape, not a lot of people, realize, but yeah, so sad, man. So sad. Ugh.
That's a tough one.
Harry Potter, man.
I, too, number 2, have a Tom Hanks.
Of course you do.
Because it's Tom Hanks. Exactly. Who doesn't have a Tom Hanks role? I'm just going to be honest with you. My top 2 are very, very personal to me.
Same.
It's Andrew from Philadelphia. Tom Hanks is, won the Oscar. Philadelphia, just absolutely brutal transformation from healthy guy to AIDS victim to the death from AIDS.
Yeah.
It's got to be one of the most heartbreaking death scenes I've ever seen, and the whole progression of how
throughout the film, it's insane.
It's hard to watch. It's extremely hard to watch. At the time, my girlfriend had a relative who had died from AIDS, and so watching her watch it and go through it just really broke me down. I was crying on my own just from it, but then having to go through and witness her reliving it, going through the loss of a relative with it, it was just really, really hard to watch, really painful, but to this day, still one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's
and
great.
I think just a brilliant story and portrayal of love. I think that deep down, Philadelphia is a love story.
Yeah.
And so it's sad and a horrific death scene, but a love story.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, it starts a conversation, too.
It does.
So, it's so good, man. It's so good. Number one for me is Jack from Titanic. Everybody knows. There was room on the raft. There was room on the fucking door, man. It's really the symbolism. It's the symbolism of maybe you didn't have to die. Maybe you could have gotten there. Maybe it could have been someone else. Like, it's just, it's absolutely insane. And everybody knows I love Leo. So it's just, that one was hard, man. That one was hard. But I have to say, and I mean, might get a lot of flack from this, I haven't seen Titanic all the way through. I've seen the beginning and I've seen the end. Not the middle. Like the naked drawing scene, never seen that. Never seen that one. I know. How does that make sense? It doesn't.
The brilliant Victor Garber.
Yeah.
The brilliant Eric Braeden. So many phenomenal actors that you missed. Just missed. Just great stuff.
Wasn't there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree with you, though. And again, everybody knows Titanic love story and everything. But there's so many elements there. I agree with you. You say, I love Leo, so it was hard to watch Leo die. But think about the element of Leo being the hero.
Yeah.
Making the sacrifice. Like you said, everybody knows there was room on the damn door. But he loved her so much, he was willing to sacrifice his life to ensure she lived. And so, there's so many themes in that movie that make it difficult to watch that scene.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. That's a good one.
Deep. It's a deep top 5.
On my number one, it's going to show my age, first of all, because I was about Ricky. Well, I'm the same age as Ricky Schroeder, so I was Ricky Schroeder's age in this film when it came out. And like I said, deeply personal to me. I'm talking about The Champ with John Voight and Ricky Schroeder when Billy, his dad, dies after winning his final fight. And it was literally right after my dad had passed away, less than a year after my dad had passed away. Same age. So when I see this blonde-haired, blue-eyed kid laying on the chest of his dad, I see me, and my dad had passed, and he's, "Don't die on me, Daddy, wake up, Daddy." Like it was it.
Yeah,
it broke. Rough. I could not watch. I just obliterated into tears. To this day, I cannot watch that scene without crying. Immediately brings back that memory. I don't think I will ever. In fact, I try to avoid the film because I know if I watch it, it just brings back so many bad memories, and it's so painful for me to watch. But it's a brilliant scene.
It is.
Say what you will about John Voight, and politics or not, or however you think about him, not think about him, or whatever. But that film and that scene with Ricky, just to this day, one of my favorite scenes of all time on film, and heartbreaking death.
Man,
heartbreaking death.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Sorry, we didn't realize that it was gonna fucking be like this.
I mean, your cat passed away, and we're talking about my dad dying, and all these sad things. It's but
I know. It's rough, man. It's rough. It hits home. It hits home. What movies hit home most for you?
Yeah, that's good.
Because like we said every week, we like to get personal with our fans. Everybody who interacts with us, we want to know. We want to know what movies are the most tragic deaths in the movies for you. We want to know what characters, because I mean, like we said, we like to know about other people's life.
And we're all just human.
Exactly.
You got a movie that you can't watch without crying. You do. So just let us know.
Exactly. Exactly. But if you're watching the top 5 on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. We appreciate you. Yeah.
Wipe your tears and then ring the bell.
And then ring the bell.
Wipe, ring. It's like good. It's all right.
Appreciate it. But now, anyway, box office recap.
Yes.
Things have been bouncing back and forth a little bit.
Yeah.
The Wretched back in the top 2,
Mm-hmm.
so that's awesome. But the Relic has got 192,000 this week.
Yeah.
The Wretched came in with 25,000. So I mean that one's still rocking and rolling over $1 million now. So congratulations to everybody a part of that film. Followed got 24,000. Becky got 21,000, and Miss Juneteenth got 12,000.
Yeah.
Which is awesome, guys. Awesome. I'm super excited.
And like we want to the VOD on the VOD side of it, like we got it. The Scott Alda Coffey. Congratulations, #1 on iTunes, #1 on Fandango now.
Breaking records, man.
Kicking ass on the VOD side because it's not all in the box office, So
it's good.
When you make $12,000 and then you're in the top 5,
you know. But now it is time for the top 5 segments, and not the top 5. IMDb Pro.
He's
segment.
still heartbroken. He's got a pile of tissues. It's
good. It's good. Oh my goodness! But you guys know we love this app.
Everybody listens. Like, don't go back to the top 5. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh man! But we're recommending this app to literally anyone and everyone we come in contact with, especially if you're affiliated with the entertainment industry.
Yes.
Can track the latest stars on the Star Meter. You can track our company, Crazy Ant Media, on the app. You can also track us individually and the podcast itself on IMDb Pro. So check it out, guys. Check it out. And the #1 film for the most trending shit is Eurovision Song Contest: The Story of Fire Saga. This is another Will Ferrell movie.
A weird one.
Yeah.
A weird one.
I don't even know what to say about it.
It's like about this couple from a small Icelandic community who are trying to bring fame or recognition to that place by like winning this obscure singing contest. And the twist is they can't sing.
Oh.
They're not good. So you take that with what you will. You want to watch it? Watch it.
Yeah.
Me personally, I'm passing.
Yeah,
but you know,
I said this off air, but I'm really kind of tired of Will Ferrell comedies. Maybe he should try something else. He's a decent dramatic actor.
He
mean, do
is.
the whole Adam Sandler route. So I mean, you got your own company, go for it, man. Like, don't. I feel like he's stuck in his box right now.
He is.
So I mean, he's better than that. He's a great actor, so he should go outside that, go outside the box, and make something great.
I totally agree.
Yeah. The top trending star is Rachel McAdams. No idea why.
For that film, she's the female lead in that film.
That's why.
She's the co-singer, if you will.
Well, listen, guys, all of this is Netflix, so that should tell you that the top trending shit is on Netflix.
Yeah,
so,
I mean,
if you're not subscribed to Netflix, what are you doing?
You should be.
I know. Literally, I feel like everyone is by now.
You've already watched Hamilton, so now go watch people who can't sing.
Exactly. God.
Is that how that went down? Like everybody watched Hamilton and then they went over and watched Netflix with this Eurovision
Or did they watch this first and they were like, fuck, I have to see Hamilton.
Yeah, they watched Eurovision and said, sign up for Disney Plus. We got to watch people who can sing. Like,
oh my God.
I don't know.
That's so good.
One way or another, it went down. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for getting crazy with us on episode.
Wait, did you say the TV show? You didn't say Dark.
Yeah, it's Dark.
Dark.
I referenced it with freaking the TV stuff.
Oh, okay. All right.
You know, it's been there for 3 weeks. You know what it is. You know what it is. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to episode 120, where we got a little crazy and a little sad, but thanks for sticking through it. We got to thank our guest one more time, Scott Alda Coffey, for coming on the show. Be sure to follow him on Instagram, because he's on Instagram but not on Twitter.
That's right.
But use the hashtag Scott Alda Coffey to promote this interview because it was so good. And be sure to follow us on social media at Crazy Ant Media on all social media platforms. Crazy Ant Media is everywhere. We got to give a shout out to our Crazy Ant intern. Be sure to follow her, Shelby Armstrong. She's just been rocking and rolling. We appreciate everything she's doing. She has just been killing it with basically everything we throw in her way. And so we appreciate appreciate you so
and
much.
asks for more.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing. She's this girl is insane. She's so passionate and she's just killing it. And yeah, we love at Crazy Ant Intern.
That's right.
Follow her.
That's right. And be sure to follow us both personally, myself at JLoFantastic and
Crazy Ant Guy 1970.
That's right, guys. And be sure to subscribe to this podcast anywhere you listen to your podcast: Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Stitcher, and so many more. Be sure to watch this video on YouTube, like the video, subscribe, ring that bell, and just all those other amazing things. We're putting new interviews up from previous shows every week, so be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and listen to those old interviews because they're so fun.
They are.
They're so freaking fun. And then, of course, visit our website, crazyantmedia.com, where you can start rocking the latest and greatest Crazy Ant Media gear. You know it. You love it. Start rocking it. So, I mean, I think my favorite part about the show today was probably the Amazon section because I'm just going to say it, I think they're the most diverse company in Hollywood right now.
They are.
Yeah.
They are making the most moves. They are taking the most chances with diversity, and it's rocking and rolling.
I agree.
I agree with you. I enjoyed that part of the show. And obviously all the Batman superhero news because I'm a total geek.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed talking about all that. And then, as crazy as this might sound, the top 5.
Yeah.
It was sad and it makes you cry, but then it also brought back memories, and they're not all bad memories associated with it. So I enjoyed the top 5.
Yeah, for real. And we also came up with next week's top 5 duet songs. What would you sing in a duet song if you were singing some karaoke? Yeah. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting, guys. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I may or may not have several duet karaoke performances out there to be seen if you find them.
Yeah, good luck.
I'm not going to tell you where.
Have fun.
But they may or may not exist.
Find them. Find them. Oh, my goodness. You know who I would love to sing karaoke with?
Oh, the only O that matters.
Oprah!